vertical.
It's a huge vertical.
That's NBA like top tier vertical type thing. He also had an amazing broad jump, as I don't know if he led everybody in broad jump, but he landed himself in fourth in the broad jump. Just an elite athlete.
Yeah, 100%. That's some pretty crazy stuff.
See who killed it in the shuttle. Looks like
Luca Van Ness had a really nice combine, I heard too.
Yes, Luca. He's a guy that when I was watching they were literally calling him Hercules because he's about 6'5", 275 pounds.
He's like almost built like J.J. Watt,
and
just a little lighter.
And he lifts up his shirt, and it's six-pack.
It was insane.
It is ridiculous. The dude is built like how you want any of your edge rushers. I think he ended up running a 4.5 40 We'll check that. We'll confirm that because he could have ran slower.
It's all right here, so we got him.
Yeah.
Let's take a look because he's big.
Yeah,
4.58. That's crazy.
4.58. That's moving for 275.
Yeah.
That is moving. He also was top 5 in the 3-cone, which is considered one of the more important of the.
Just kind of testing that agility.
Yeah, as edge rushers, that's usually considered the most important of any of the drills. Before we talk more about the draft, though, we do have a $21 Musco going out to Buzzer Dave over at VFW Spring Lake Park, as well as Yum over at Jackson's Hole, Minneapolis. Good job to both of our winners on this first game of Game Day Bingo, as we'll now get enrolled into a game number 2 with that minor prize becoming available finally, clicking up from 52 to 54 balls or less.
Awesome stuff. But of course,
he was the second rated edge defender, as Eastern Michigan prospect Jose Ramirez was the number 1 edge prospect. The other two that were ahead of Lucas Van Ness were linebackers.
It's pretty awesome. A lot of really athletic dudes in this draft. I'm seeing a lot of high numbers, at these positions than we normally do.
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking too from last year's draft, where I feel like
a lot of speed.
I feel like there's a lot of guys. Maybe none of them are nearly at the athletic ability as Trayvon Walker was, as he tested absolutely insane in just so many different categories, 3-cone, 40, everything you need. He was just at the top of every single list. But I think this year, you have a lot of guys right now that are performing at that, really, really high level.
Yeah, no, 100%. I totally agree. But yeah, it's looking pretty cool so far this year, though. I'm liking a lot of the stuff we're seeing. Wow, 34 reps.
Yeah, I feel like this is like the least important drill in the entire combine, the bench press. Yeah. But I love seeing who's the strongest out of all of them. And May Smith ended up being the strongest out of all the D tackles, D ends, edge rushers, and linebackers, getting 34 reps of 225.
Awesome stuff. Yeah, no, that is really, really impressive. Considering how much they're lifting.
Noah Sewell, he got 27 reps on there, landing him pretty high up on that list.
Yeah.
Penei Sewell, Detroit Lion lineman star. His brother plays linebacker at Oregon. Well, did play linebacker at Oregon. Is now coming out to the draft and is looking to get drafted. In some of the, I feel like he's a 4th through 6th round prospect right now.
Yeah. I think he's supposed to get drafted.
Yes. He's not going to go undrafted, but I think he's somewhere in those later rounds. It could be a steal, as a lot of those NFL pedigree families, they end up working out.
Very true.
You got the Watt brothers. You got so many brothers right now in the NFL. I feel like it's almost a smart bet to do that and draft a brother.
Oh, yeah, 100%. So that'll be fun to see where he goes. I think it'd be cool if the Lions were able to pick him up or something. But, of course, some other names I've seen popping up a lot is Jack Campbell.
Yeah.
He did really well for his combine, too.
Yeah, I know. I've seen a lot about Jack Campbell in just prospect gradings and stuff like that, just due to his athletic attributes and being able to get to places. He's 6'5", 250 pounds, can move all over the place on the field for teams, and really did well in the combine, running a 4.6 in the 40-yard dash, 37-inch vertical jump, 10-foot 8-inch broad jump, a 6.74 3-cone drill, which landed him in second in the 3-cone, and was second in the 20-yard shuttle with a 4.24.
No, I think he was first in the 3-cone. That's just 6.74 seconds.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
he was
second.
first in the
yes,
three
he
cone.
was first in the
By
three
like a
cone.
pretty decent margin.
Yeah,
too.
which is a huge one when you're talking about those guys that are playing within the box.
Yeah.
Those three-cone drills are way more important than how fast they can go for 40 yards. Now, today, we are going to get actual players that the 40-yard dash really matters for, and that is the defensive backs, seeing those safeties, those cornerbacks, as well as seeing a lot of players that our Vikings are going to be looking at in this upcoming draft.
True. No, this can be interesting to see because I feel like, I mean, dude, you had a few different cornerbacks really prove themselves in the draft last year, or in the combine last year, I mean, and really rose in the draft because of it. Like Tariq Woolen, he ran like a 4.2, like 6 or something like that. It's just nasty.
Was huge size-wise and everything. Just was built like an NFL cornerback, and he ended up performing like an NFL cornerback. Arguably, the second best cornerback in this past year's draft. And I think if it wasn't for Sauce Gardner playing so fantastically, being arguably like one of the best cornerbacks in the entire NFL, that he would have been easily the best cornerback in a lot of other draft classes.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree with that for sure. But I mean, it's crazy to see. I'm hoping that we get a lot of defensive talent this year too, because I feel like it made it a lot more interesting last year, kind of watching everybody come out of the draft. But before we go further on, we do have Deber over at Jimmy's Poorhouse, Nan over at Corky's Bar South Haven, and Bugland over at Atomic Star Tavern. All of them splitting up $23.60 on the must-go prize. Nice job to you guys.
Oh, yeah, Jack Campbell out of Iowa. He was actually first in both of the quickness drills, the 20-yard shuttle and the three-cone drill, landing him first in both.
Jose Ramirez, second in both, too.
Out of Michigan,
just behind
Eastern
him.
Michigan. Crazy. I did not know. I don't know what level of prospect he is.
I don't know either.
I know I was looking at one of my favorite prospects in this draft for a late-round pick is the Ferris State edge rusher who had 26 sacks last year. And I think he ended up running a 4.8 40. Not anything spectacular, but just showing that he has the athleticism to compete at the NFL level.
Yeah, 100%. It looks like he's like a little undersized for like what he's doing, but like his athleticism was crazy apparently. Like he did really well.
Yeah, I mean that athleticism score, I mean, is not a lie. It is a very impressive score.
Yeah, so it looks like he's not super crazy. Like 4.73 he ran, which isn't bad. He had a vertical jump of 34, but it looks like he's really quick though, which I feel like makes a bigger difference than like your straight line speed when you play that like edge position. You know what I'm talking about?
Sure. Yeah, you need quickness. You don't need to be able to be. You don't need that to chase down speed that other players might need.
Well, that's funny. He actually came from Florida and ended up going to Eastern Michigan. That's a pretty funny transition. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. Jose Ramirez. That would be a fun dude to watch to see if he is able to do anything.
Yeah, we do have a few prospects that, definitely impressed at the combine. I'm sure a few we talked about. This one we haven't talked about yet.
Yeah, this
Pitt's
was crazy.
D tackle, Kalijah Cansey. Cansey came in as an undersized defensive tackle, being only 6'1", I think 280 pounds. But he absolutely showed out running a 4.67 in the 40-yard dash, paired with a 10-yard split of a 1.64 seconds in the 95th percentile. He really showed off that he can be that undersized athletic D tackle.
Yeah, they compared him to Aaron Donald because he came out of Pitt too, and they had him like run like the same little 40-yard like next to him like that. You know how they have that little comparison thing. It was funny. I think Aaron Donald ended up being faster.
Yes, he was faster, but if you actually look at like every measurable from the combine, he is like super close to Aaron Donald in pretty much every measurable category.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, so maybe as a late round pick, as I don't think he's projected to be first round, or I haven't even heard his name in second round mock drafts. It could be slipping into the third round for somebody.
Yeah, 100%. No, that would be pretty cool to see where he ends up landing. But up next, Wisconsin D tackle Keanu Benton. So he was a nose tackle. He was a really good player in college and performed really well in athletic testing for a player that weighed in at 309 pounds. In drills, Benton displayed some impressive fluidity in his movements and excellent power in his hands. For a team that needs a run-stuffing tackle that has some upside rushing the passer, Benton will be a great choice for a team on day 2.
Yeah, he's definitely explosive as he has a 29 9.5-inch vertical
Yeah.
and a 9-foot 3-inch broad jump. And so he's got that explosive power that you need to be able to land,
He's
you know,
6'4".
land heavy hands on the opposing offensive guards. And I think Keanu Benton may be a great pickup if we want a run-stopping D tackle for this team.
Yeah,
Another guy
100%.
who went up boards, Florida D tackle Gervin Dexter. He had a really nice, as his height was 6'6", 312 pounds, landed himself in the 92nd percentile with his 40-yard dash, running a 4.88 at 312 pounds. Absolutely insane. Had a 31-inch vertical. Just showed off some insane athletic attributes out of Florida.
Yeah, 100%. So looking pretty good, too, to some big dudes we can add in on defense. Another defensive dude, Northwestern D lineman, Adetomiwa Adeborwar. Okay, I'm sorry, I totally messed that name up. I was trying.
Yeah.
But on tape, he plays the game like he's the purple Power Ranger, apparently. That's what they compared him to. He's excessively powerful and showed to be a very athletic player in the trenches. His 40-yard dash time was insane at 4.49. That's pretty impressive. A member of Bruce Feldman's Freaks list, he also jumped incredibly well with a 94.8th percentile vertical jump and a 95% percentile broad jump. He'll be a great addition to a team that wants a 5 technique. They can also slide inside.
We do have a winner here in this game, number 3, a must-go prize of $26.90, going out to Gordoon over at VFW Spring Lake Park. Good job, Gordoon, as we will now be getting enrolled into a game number 4 of Game Day Bingo, with that minor prize clicking up from 56 to 58 balls or less. Definitely some awesome stuff there.
Yeah, 100%.
Edge rusher, Nolan Smith out of Georgia, he 100% raised his combine list, as he might be the most athletic defensive lineman I've ever seen come into the draft. Yeah. Really, really crazy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we'd be lucky if he dropped down to where we're at.
Yeah. I mean, and if he did, that would be a great pickup for us, as he very much reminds me of Daniil Hunter, just with so many great athletic attributes. Didn't really produce as much as you expected within college, but then once he got to the NFL, he really matured all those attributes into an NFL player. I think he would be a really nice player paired up with Daniil Hunter. But back to the prospects that boosted up their ratings. Louisville's edge, Yaya Dabi. He did really well at 6'3", 263 pounds. He ran a 4.51 40-yard dash, was second on the day to only Smith with his 10-yard split with a 1.56 at a 37-inch vertical jump and a 10-foot broad jump. That's really impressive for a bigger guy.
Awesome stuff. And Auburn linebacker, too. He is, what's his name? Owen Popo. He's looking pretty good, too. He has some really interesting films. He flashes brilliance at the point of attack, but is pretty inconsistent. One thing that would help raise his draft stock was a great set of athletic testing. He did just that with a 4.39 second 40-yard dash and a 10-yard split of 1.52. Pair that with 2 really good jump scores, and the stock took a really nice boost.
Yeah, I mean, that is moving. If you can get this guy in a later round pickup, I think that would be absolutely awesome. This is a guy that I don't think will be falling to our spot, as he's being, mocked up really high up, like near the top 10 of the draft, and that's Iowa's edge, Lucas Van Ness. We already talked about how well he did in the draft, just performing at the top of, pretty much every athletic category for himself. But those are all the guys that we're going to be covering right now that really boost their draft stock yesterday, as they were all D linemen, linebackers performing yesterday. But today's going to be a big one for us, as we're going to be having defensive backs getting after it.
Yeah, 100%. That would be a really fun one to see. I mean, that's when it starts to look a little bit more like a track meet. So that'll definitely be fun to watch, to see if there's any records broken or anything like that.
Speaking of just like records broken and stuff like that, did you know that in last year's draft, each of the fastest players within their respective positions all came out of the same combine prep program?
Oh, wow. That's really cool.
Yeah, so this combine prep is producing some real speedsters out of them, which I thought was really, really impressive. Shout out to them. I don't know their name, but, producing some speedsters. 100%. We do have balls dropping in this game number 4, as we got a minor prize of $195, 58 balls or less, 11 balls away for a bunch of these players. We'll see who can end up taking home one of these great prizes. But while we're talking about prizes, let's talk about the jackpots we gave out over the last 7 days. 48 jackpots over the last 7 days and 269 jackpots during this season 13.
Yeah, awesome stuff. I mean, starting it off and ending it off yesterday was Lisa Mary being the only jackpot winner of the day over at Neeson's Belle Plaine. Took home $7,120. Looking good for Lisa Mary. Nice job.
Oh yeah, should be some really cool stuff there. And now we'll talk more about the draft again, because I want to know what defensive backs they're thinking are going to be running the fastest 40.
Yeah, no, we'll totally take a look at that. I was kind of wondering who were going to be the top participants that they were kind of stocking. Let's take a look at top defensive backs in this next draft. Because I know, I mean, like, there's supposed to be some pretty nice dudes. Like,
yes.
Not like last year, you know what I mean? But, like, there's supposed to be some pretty decent prospects coming up this year. Interesting. I see Devon Witherspoon, probably one of the biggest dudes I've been seeing. He's coming out of Iowa. Brian Branch from Alabama is a pretty big prospect, too. Christian Gonzalez from Oregon.
It looks like he's the highest up Vegas odds for being the fastest defensive back.
Oh, Christian Gonzalez?
Yes, in this draft.
Okay, interesting. His 40-yard, apparently they have him listed right now as a 4.32. So that would be pretty crazy to see.
Yeah, we do have a winner here, taking home a nice Musco prize of $36.80. We got Luck Raj over at Vic's Bar and Grill Moorhead, taking home $36. Good job to our winner in this game number 4. We'll now be getting enrolled into a game number 5 with that minor prize clicking up to 60 balls or less.
Awesome stuff. But yeah, it looks like he has just really elite like speed and that sort of thing, so he's a lot of potential. Well, it looks like he did get targeted a pretty decent amount in college.
Okay.
The QB rating when targeted was 79.3. But it looks like, I mean, he's like decent enough. He might have just been like, he was on Oregon. I don't think they were that great this past year, were they?
No, they weren't fantastic, but I know he played personally pretty well. Showing a lot of flashes of elite abilities, but I think there were just lapses in that ability that caused for a little bit of worry.
Yeah, and I feel like that's normal at cornerback. You know what I mean? Like you're just gonna see that all the time. Is like I think the way football is played right now is just so offensively tilted. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
So let's see. So in his past season, in 2022. Gonzalez saw his production improve drastically. He played in 12 games and took part in 718 snaps for the Ducks. Chalked up 14 tackles, 13 assists, and had 12 stops. In the secondary, Gonzalez forced 6 pass breakups, 4 interceptions, and gave up an impressive QB rating when targeted of 74.7, which isn't bad.
No, not bad at all.
It looks like his career is 79.3, so he really improved in his last year.
Yes, he also wasn't playing at Oregon his first few years. I think he was
for the Buffaloes.
Yes.
Interesting.
He was on a worse team, and he then transferred over to Oregon and really stepped it up to another notch once he got to Oregon.
Awesome. Oh, wow. Okay, so he actually ran track as a senior in the Texas State Championships, and he recorded 21.6 seconds in the 200-meter.
Ooh, he can fly.
Yeah, that is pretty insane.
Yeah, he definitely can run. That would be really impressive stuff.
Oh, wow. He hit 23.3 miles per hour on the GPS. He vertical jumped 42 inches, apparently. And this was when he was, like, trying out with the Ducks in the offseason, apparently. That's really crazy. Well,
yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That definitely is going to be exciting to watch. I'm super excited to see some of these prospects run and see what their athleticism is going to be looking like. I know Christian Gonzalez being one of those guys that I'm definitely excited to see how they perform. But I think there are going to be other guys that I'll be super excited to see perform as well, as we got
was the whatchamacallit, what's probably
Emmanuel
like
Forbes is a guy that
I've been hearing a lot about him.
That he could he was one of those guys that I actually could see around in our projected area, which I think he'd be nice. I think Kelly Ringo, cornerback out of Georgia, I think would be nice just because he's worked with Lewis Seen. You get 2 DBs working together. They have that communicative background, and maybe they can bring the best out of each other, as we really want a cornerback and a safety to step up in this upcoming
Very
year. And maybe by getting Keely Ringo, you can get the best out of Lewis Cine and the best out of Keely Ringo.
Yeah, no, that'd be pretty sweet to see. I mean, like, I feel like it's been proven a lot more recently. It's like it's never a bad idea to draft teammates. You know what I mean, with each other, especially on offense.
Especially when they're young too.
Yes,
like
too, yeah.
when they're young, when they're veterans, I feel like they could just plug and play in every system.
Yeah,
Like that's what they get to. They just get to a point where it doesn't matter who they're playing with. They just plug and play. They learn the system and they can run it. Young players, they need a little bit more of that communication,
familiarity.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
I mean?
Familiarity with each other, and I think that could really raise up the production for our team.
Yeah.
And I could see Keely Ringo actually dropping to our spot.
Yeah, 100%. So, I mean, that would be really interesting to see. I mean, would you want to draft a safety like in this draft at all? Or
No. I think Lewis Cine is one of those guys. He's high up enough on my board as a developmental prospect. We also have Cameron Bynum, who's only in his second year.
I agree with that. I like Cameron Bynum a lot.
Yeah, Harrison Smith is obviously he's a veteran that will need replacements for in the upcoming future. But I just don't think that this is the draft to do it, as I don't think safety is where safety's not where I really like to look at in this draft.
Yeah.
We do have a winner here, taking home a nice jackpot of $279.94. It's Yum over at Jackson's Hole, Minneapolis, taking home that nice prize. Good job, Yum, in this game number 5. We will now be getting rolled into a game number 6 with that Musco of $67. Just growing and rolling as you guys get enrolled into this game.
Awesome stuff. But it looks like overwhelmingly Devin Witherspoon is actually kind of like overall rated like much higher than everybody else.
I did not realize how good he was considered within his ratings.
Yeah, no, it's crazy to see. I thought it was a lot closer to like kind of within everybody, but it looks like he's considered by far, like maybe not by far, but like pretty considerably like the best cornerback in this draft.
Wow.
This is interesting.
That's
Geez, man, look at his QB rating with targeted is 44.
Huh.
That is pretty.
Wow.
I mean, that's pretty impressive when you get that low. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
it for sure is.
But let's see. So as a senior in 2022, Witherspoon had an elite year, seeing action in 12 games while playing 738 snaps. He logged 32 tackles, 7 assists, and made 16 stops. In coverage, Witherspoon had 14 pass breakups, 3 interceptions, and surrendered an outstanding QB rating when targeted of just 24.6 this year. That is insane. So he improved a lot coming in from these past years.
I wish we had a shot at him. I mean, that would be nice.
That would be nice.
I think another guy that if we a little trade back guy, I think Eli Ricks out of Alabama is not a bad prospect. 190, 6'2", projected to run over under in the 4.4s. Looks like a really nice prospect. Just has the size, speed, and playing at the highest level of college football. I like that, a prospect like that.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it looks like whatchamacallit, he's like a turnover creating type of dude, where I feel like dudes like that kind of like will create opportunities for the offense, especially when we have such a high powered offense, are just like gonna be always a little bit more valuable than like more consistent cornerbacks for us. You know what I mean? Like if I were to choose between like having like Pat Peterson last year or what's his face, Trevon Diggs this past year, while both were like really good like top 10 cornerbacks, like I almost would like want to say like Trevon Diggs just because like he creates more turnovers. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, but I mean Patrick Peterson is he's kind of turned into that. Like I feel like in the past like 2 years has turned into a little bit more of a pick magnet instead of that lockdown cornerback that we were so accustomed to in his long career with the Cardinals. And so I think he's kind of that. What I would love to see actually, I mean, I like this guy just because he's got the size measurables and everything like that to go into the NFL level. But I would love to see a guy that's a true shutdown cornerback to be able to give those other guys, targets to create those interception scenarios.
True. Yeah, no, especially if like, we have the talent already and just you plug in that guy like as well as the others. Like that would definitely be cool to see.
Which I think Emmanuel Forbes may be the best guy at that, at the press man coverage skills. I think he's probably at the top of this draft.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, that'd be pretty decent to see. I'm just excited to see what happens with the Vikings because there's so many different like routes they can take.
Oh,
You know
for
what I mean?
sure. There's a lot of routes to take.
Like, what do you think would be the best thing possible to do with this first round pick that we got? Because like it's a pretty valuable pick considering what the draft is looking like.
Yeah, it's a very deep draft, and so that's where I get into the mindset. And when I'm thinking of what Kwefe Adafo-Mensah thinks, I'm definitely going. He's going to trade back. That's what if I was going to predict what the Vikings would do, is that they're going to trade back. Somebody's going to fall in love with the prospect that falls down to wherever the Vikings are at.
Yeah.
If it's a prospect that we don't fall in love with, I mean, it's not a cornerback or a defensive lineman or maybe one of those top 4 quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I feel like, trade back, pick up more picks, and just, draft on the best available in those picks and just get a lot of athleticism at those spots.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think that'd be really cool to see, especially, depending on what we can get for that first round pick. But what's crazy actually is that consistently, people have been saying that Bijan Robinson is like one of the toughest players to play against from the defensive perspective.
Really?
Some dude said it yesterday. I think it was like Jalen Carter or somebody like that. It was somebody even outside of Bijan Robinson's like conference.
Really?
Yeah, and he, out of all the offensive linemen, out of all the other people that he plays with consistently, he said Bijan Robinson. And I was like, dang, like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Bijan is an animal out of Texas.
Who is that? Alabama. Somebody from Alabama said it.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it was Will Anderson. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like Will Anderson said that
he gave him like really high. Like he said that they had the game plan around him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
If we decided to pick him up as a Vikings, I don't. As long as we moved off of Dalvin Cook, I would love that pick too.
Yeah, I agree with
He's
that.
really, really talented. We do have a double Musco being split up, $116.50 being split up between Patty over at VFW Brooklyn Park and M&J over at VFW Austin. Good job to both of our winners in this game number 6. We will now be getting rolled into a game number 7 with that minor prize clicking up to 54 balls or less. Same time as that major prize is clicked up to 54 balls or less. So that minor prize still not available heading into this game, as the major prize is the only one available at 54 balls or less. We'll have to wait to next game when the minor prize clicks up to 56 balls or less.
Awesome stuff. But I guess. So out of this whole draft, who do you think is going to be like the best player? Like regardless of position.
Okay.
Like just like your hot take on it.
Within their position, I think that the best player in this draft. Ooh, this is a tough one because I feel like it's a very, even draft where we don't know the top of each position very well.
True.
Probably going to have to go with the Georgia defensive lineman, Jalen Carter.
I mean, yeah,
he
that's a
feels
good
like
one.
the most sure fire pick. He stood out in a defense that was laden with NFL stars across the defensive line.
He did have. There's been some controversy about him recently, though, and he could fall because of it.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I don't see him falling very far.
Yeah.
I see him falling to like lowest, the 4th overall pick.
Yeah.
Instead of him being a top 2 pick, which is what he was originally projected. But it's just a really sad situation that all happened because it's from what I've understood of the situation is that it seems like just college being a dumb college student kind of situation, and in no way was he a bad human being for it. But it just was a horrible situation of immature young college kid.
It's just like
making a mistake.
Because even like regardless of like the situation, and we all know morally like he isn't a bad person, but it is just one of those things where it's like when you get charged with anything, you know what I mean?
Oh, it drops you.
It drops you pretty decently.
Drops you a lot. Jalen Carter, though, he's still going to be super high up in the draft.
Yeah.
And I think, if anything, that probably helps him in the draft because he's going to be probably picked by a better defense than he would have been picked up by.
Very true, yeah.
And so he's going to have some defensive end that's a stud next to him. I know that my brother Gabe, who was a Detroit Lions fan, he was saying, fall to the number 9 pick. Fall to the number 9 pick.
That would be insane. I mean, I could even see the Lions like trying to trade up. You know what I mean? Like I could see that happening.
Oh,
if they
for sure.
especially after the combine happens. You know what I mean? Like once everything comes in and they meet with everybody they want to meet with, I could see that happening for sure if they feel really good about somebody.
I'll tell you who I can't wait to see compete in the combine is Georgia tight end. I'm forgetting Darnell Washington. The 6'8", 270-pound tight end that was their number 2 just because Brock Bowers is insane out of Georgia. But he's just so physically talented. I can't wait to see what kind of numbers he puts up in the combine this year.
Yeah, 100%. So, they made a chart, the site did, of 40 time to weight ratio.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of funny, but it's kind of crazy to see where everybody's at on here.
Yeah.
Jalen Hyatt is really high up on there, just because he runs so fast and he's pretty skinny too. But that's funny that they did that.
That is really, really funny.
What? Whoa, this dude is over 330 pounds, and he's still running a 5'4". That is pretty crazy.
That is insane. Yeah, Darnell Washington, the guy I can't wait to see. 6'7", 270 pounds, projected to run a 4.6 340-yard dash.
Crazy.
I can't wait to see him.
He's coming from Georgia. Okay,
yes.
Yeah, I know who that is.
Yes,
okay.
Really, really just ginormous dude. If any team is looking for, I don't think he fits well with the Vikings at all, but I think there's a few teams that, are looking for a tight end. And if you're not looking for that elite receiving tight end, Darnell Washington is 100% that guy because he is a offensive tackle's best friend. You get an offensive tackle injured, you put Darnell Washington next to him, you basically get another offensive tackle.
I mean, give him to the Chiefs. Might as well.
Yeah, that would be insane.
But we do have a winner. We got Scranye over at Danny's Dugout taking away $40 on the Musco. Nice job to you. We are getting into this next game. Each jackpot is getting bigger and better than before, and we're now getting that first chance back at the minor jackpot. It's going to be moving up to 56 balls or less to win, over $130 on this next game.
Oh, yeah. But Darnell Washington, I think, freakiest athlete, basically another offensive tackle to add to your offense, but then also adds in the fact that he's a freak athlete too, that has a huge red zone upside to him, and so I would like seeing him go to a really talented team. I don't know what team I would love him the best on, but there's definitely a few. One that pops into my head immediately is the Lions, due to the fact that they traded TJ Hawkinson to us, and they, I've seen a lot of mock drafts projecting them to pick up a tight end with one of their first 2 first round picks or in the early second round, and maybe Darnell Washington's that guy.
So where is Michael Mayer? I know because he's by far the top rated prospect at tight end. So where is he supposed to land at? Is he a day 2 kind of guy?
No, he's going to be in the top 25.
Okay.
Draft picks, top 20
so he's
draft
that good.
picks.
He's that good.
Yeah, he's up there with, the best of them. He's the blue collar tight end of the group where everyone else has flaws. They look at Michael Mayer and they're like,
there's not a lot wrong there.
Yes, exactly. Okay. So he's going to be drafted pretty high, especially with the value of tight end consistently going up to year to year.
Yeah, no, this is going to be fun to see because I'm really excited for there to be another good tight end in the league, especially so I can draft them in fantasy. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely.
It was a rough year last year because I had 2 teams. I had one team that drafted only tight ends, and then I had another team that just auto drafted. And the team that drafted only tight ends was infinitely better. I had such a better time with that team.
Oh yeah, no, you just picked up a ton of tight ends. Yeah. I was just trying to see some of these players' stats and stuff like that because.
So Tucker Kraft, he's looking pretty decent. He played 6 games as a junior.
Yeah, he's only the number 5 ranked tight end, so a lot lower on the list. This could be a guy that we look at to pick up in the later rounds.
Yeah, it's QB rating when targeted. It looks like he's a good target, 131.
Well, you look at 2020 as a freshman, averaged 12.9 yards per reception, only 7 receptions for 90 yards. Yeah. But his sophomore year is really when he started to stand out, playing in 15 games, 65 catches, 770 yards for the college tight end, averaged 11.8 yards per catch with 6 TDs. QB rating of a 129.
Especially with all those receptions. That's really impressive.
Also, when pass protecting, he only gave up 3 pressures and 0 sacks. So he can be a pass blocker as well.
Awesome.
His junior season, so just last season, 2022, he only played in 6 games, but had a decent year, catching 19 passes for 232 yards, averaging 12.2 yards per catch with 2 TDs and an elite QB rating when targeted of 134.7.
That's awesome stuff. Well, hey, that's looking pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah, he's one of the,
he played at a smaller school, though.
Yeah, I've heard he's got really nice fluidity in his athleticism. He's not going to wow like 40-yard dash straight line speed, but he's got that like NFL speed.
Like, he can move around.
Yes, exactly. It's kind of like when you put George Kittle out there to run a 40-yard dash. I'm sure there's quite a few tight ends that are faster than him, but in game, for some reason, George Kittle just outruns some dudes. It's interesting. That's Tucker Kraft.
Yeah, well, I feel like this will be a fun draft to see for some tight end prospects then, because I mean, when you go to the 5th best tight end, like he's looking pretty decent, at least for his performance where he was playing.
Yeah, I think tight end's one of the spots that are super deep in this draft. Yeah. And so if we were thinking about picking up an extra tight end after the failed Irv Smith Jr. Going on, we might want to pick up another tight end, especially if we have questions on our future with T.J. Hawkinson.
Yeah, that's true, because I think he only has he might be a free agent this upcoming year, isn't he?
Yeah. I don't know.
I think he only had 2 years on his contract when we traded for him.
Yes, I think we get him for 1 more year, and then they're seriously considering signing him to an extension. Yeah, but an elite tight end, it costs so much. With us trying to extend Justin Jefferson as well, it just is. Well, we'll be really dropping the cap.
Kirk's contract won't be on the books anymore, though.
Yes. We do have Listen Lisa over at American Legion North Mankato taking home a must-go prize of $39.70. Good job to Listen Lisa in this game number 8 of Game Day Bingo. We will now be getting rolled into a game number 9 with that minor prize. Clicking up once again from 56 to 58 balls or less.
Awesome stuff. But yeah, I think this is a really exciting draft, kind of all over the board.
Do you have a specific position you want to take a look at more than others?
Let's take a look. I'll take a look at some of the other people that we got. I mean, running back has some pretty interesting people, mostly just Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs. I think those are the two I've seen the most of. So that will be fun to see where they land, I think. Wide receiver, that's going to be interesting, too, because I think that's going to concern our Vikings a lot, depending on who falls down.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's going to really matter on who's valued super high, because I think, you talk to 5 different teams, and you get 5 different answers on who the wide receiver 1 is.
And very true. And honestly, it's going to really change once the combine happens. I think that's going to be a really big deal, depending on like where these guys land in athleticism and stuff like that.
Zay Flowers doing some really good work this offseason.
Really?
I
did see that.
He's already put on, 15 pounds of muscle in this offseason. Really putting on the weight. We already knew he was a very dynamic athlete. But putting on the weight was one of those questions we had for him. And that wouldn't be a guy that I would definitely take a few looks at for this team, just because he's got that dynamic playmaking ability on jet sweeps and stuff.
No, I agree. I think he's looking pretty decent for sure. But other than that, man, I don't know. I think probably, like, realistically, I'm most excited for the wide receiver class, because I think it will be really cool if the Vikings took another dude.
Yes.
But other than that, I think I love to see it whenever rookies do good as defenders, to be honest. So any defensive dudes that come out, I'm going to be paying a little bit more attention to. But I think the wide receivers are kind of all over the place this year, so it's going to be interesting to see like what happens here. Because even Jackson Smith Njigba, he's been really vocal about believing he's like one of the top 5 players in the draft period.
Yes.
Like, past his position.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see how good he is. I don't think he fits great with this team
no.
As a wide receiver. I mean, I think he would do good as he's kind of one of those wide receivers that fits well with Kirk Cousins' style of play.
Yeah.
But I think I would rather have a few different other players that are a little bit more athletically superior.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think it'll be a little bit more eye-opening once the combine happens this weekend, and we'll be able to see like kind of a for sure like ranking of where they're at and that type of thing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But what position class are you kind of eyeing up?
For the first few rounds, I think I'm definitely going to be taking looks at. I think defensive line are places I would like to take looks at. Edge rusher, defensive tackle. I think those two spots I really like. If we get one of those, really good picks of cornerback, I think that's where I'll be looking at. But if I'm trading back and I get a like wide receiver prospect and a cornerback prospect, or a wide receiver prospect and a D lineman prospect,
yeah.
I'd be pretty happy there as well.
Yeah, 100%. I think it'd be smart if in the later rounds the Vikings did pick up another tight end, though. I think that'd be pretty cool, especially considering how those top five, like anybody in the top five would be pretty cool.
Oh, I completely agree. I think there's a lot of really, really talented players out there, especially in this draft where there's not really those solidified blue chip prospects outside of, I feel like Jalen Carter and Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
I feel like those two guys, they're blue chip prospects, and then like everyone else is.
It's kind of like meh.
I'm not 100% sure on. Maybe Paris Johnson.
Do you think what do you think Bryce Young is going to be looking like for his combine?
Ooh.
Is he even going to be measuring in? Like, does he have to?
Yes, I think he's measuring in at the combine.
Okay.
I think he agreed to that.
Cool.
A portion of
That'd
it.
be interesting. That would be interesting to see then.
Yeah, I'll be very interested to see.
Because right now he's at 6 foot, 194 pounds.
Yes, that's what he's listed at. Everyone's projecting him to be around like 5'10", 170.
Yeah,
so
which is interesting.
I'm very interested to see how it all ends up for him, as he is a very, very small quarterback.
But, I mean, the dude's good, though.
Yeah, he is.
I mean?
Very, very effective at the position.
Yeah.
We do have Nate 85 over at Miniger's Sports Hub taking home a must-go prize of $51.40. Good job, Nate 85, in this game number 9. We are now going to be getting rolled into a game number 10 with that minor prize clicking up to 60 balls or less as you're getting enrolled. Should be some great stuff as you guys get going.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, I mean, other than that, though, I think the draft overall is going to be pretty exciting. I'm going to be excited to see what teams do this year, because I think it's kind of a very formative year for a lot of different teams. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, completely agree. Now, the quarterback position is probably the one I least like talking about with our Vikings, just because the quarterback situation is really hard because I'm a Kirk Cousins guy.
Yeah.
I like Kirk Cousins, but I am not necessarily on the, don't draft another quarterback train because we have Kirk Cousins. I think, it's always good to be developing more prospects and figuring out how they can play on their specific teams. Do you have any guys that you could see us drafting maybe in later rounds, or using our first round pick if they fell?
I think, I mean, if Anthony Richardson fell, like, I could see them even using the first rounder on him, to be honest.
Oh, I
I
think
mean?
if he drops, that upside that he has is too much to let slip past you at, what's our pick, the 25th, 26th? 23rd pick.
Yeah.
With the 23rd pick, I think it would be hard to let an Anthony Richardson slip past that.
I fully agree.
Just because he's just so talented. Quarterback position, so important.
I didn't even know that there were a few dudes kind of rated above him, Tanner McKee and Hendon Hooker.
Yes,
That's interesting.
Yeah, I think a lot of them are rated higher in their actual play ability, but the NFL is a
very athletic league.
Yeah, what is your attributes? It's an attributes league when you're coming in, and then it's what you can do once you get to the NFL level, because most of the guys that are, work out, their attributes are, show really big in the NFL at the college football level, and then they figure it all out at the NFL level. Wow. Anthony Richardson could definitely do that, and he's been actually super adamant in interviews and press conferences talking about how he's been really working on his accuracy. And I know one thing that is super big in accuracy is syncing up your lower body and upper body together to throw at the same time. And I think that he even mentioned that specifically within the interview. And so seeing a guy that, he's self-aware on what he needs to work on.
Yeah.
And if he's self-aware, works hard, and is a hard worker at 6'4", 240 pounds, running a sub-4 540, it is hard to pass a guy up like that can sit behind Kirk Cousins for a year and develop.
Yeah, no, 100%. And being able to sit behind a dude like Kirk Cousins, I mean, that would be pretty valuable to him, I feel like.
Yeah,
So
I don't mind
pretty
Hendon
cool.
Hooker in later rounds.
Yeah,
I think he's a guy that could fall back and end up being a very, very good prospect.
Okay.
Just because, he was super, super talented at Tennessee. As, last year, 2 years ago, Tennessee was awful.
Yeah.
And then, he took over as the starting quarterback and really showed him how talented he was. And without that injury, I think he would be one of the top quarterbacks drafted in this draft. But because of that injury, you might be able to pick him up in a second-round draft pick if we decide to trade back.
Yeah, no, that'd be pretty interesting to see how that would work out. But so I know a dude that's really kind of all over the place and what people think of him is Will Levis. So like what is kind of your prediction with him? What are you thinking about him?
Will Levis, he's an interesting. I don't like Will Levis.
I think it's just gonna be another Zach Wilson situation. Like it just kind of that's what makes most sense to me when he comes to mind.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it just doesn't feel like he has all the attributes yet, and I always feel like that third quarterback that gets pushed into the conversation. Sometimes there is a third quarterback that's actually that good, and you have drafts that are that deep at the quarterback position. Most drafts, you have two like elite quarterbacks, and then you have one other guy that they're trying to push into that elite category. And Will Levis feels like that guy they're trying to push into that elite category.
Yeah.
He's then will get drafted too high, get put on a team that's dysfunctional, and then not be able to develop his talents. Now, do I think if Will Levis fell and he ended up at a Indianapolis Colts, he ended up at a team that had a structured, well put together team, I think he would be a really good player. I think he's got a lot of really high upside, but with how high up he's being evaluated, he could be drafted to a pretty poor team.
Yeah.
Most mock drafts I've seen him going to Carolina. And so
I mean, that's not that bad.
that's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad,
Especially
but it's
without
not
Christian McCaffrey now.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. That's a good point. But it's not like Texans bad, in my opinion.
No,
but we do have a winner, like you were saying. We got Scranye over at Danny's Dugout, taking away another win. $73 going to you. Nice job. And good news for everybody else, though, that minor jackpot is moving up to 62 balls or less to win. Going to be over $390, almost 400. And we got that major on the line, too. That's at 54 balls or less to win if you feel like taking home $6,000. And that mega jackpot is at 10 grand in 45 balls or less to win. All three of these jackpots looking pretty good as we are now 2 minutes away from getting into the next game.
Now, a place that I have seen him get mocked draft to that I think he would work out is Seattle Seahawks.
Oh,
I
that'd be
think
pretty
that
cool.
would be a perfect situation for
Agreed.
him to really, really thrive.
I mean, like they got like a kind of like an elite receiver room, to be honest.
And I've also seen Anthony Richardson very highly.
That would be crazy.
Mock there to sit behind Geno Smith for a year or two.
That'd be like
and then
perfect
take
for him.
over in that, and then have two of the biggest freaks in offense in the NFL with DK Metcalf and Anthony Richardson.
Very, very true. That'd be interesting to see. I think that would technically be best for Anthony Richardson, but I don't think the Vikings are that far behind. On how good they would be for him.
No, I think there's a few like really good teams that fit well, and a team with the best wide receiver in football probably helps a young quarterback develop, and so that's my opinion of it. And we're in the perfect situation right now to pick up that young quarterback to relieve a lot of cap space by picking up that young quarterback and giving him time to develop with a true number one wide receiver.
Yeah, 100%. I think what I really want to happen, though, with Will Levis is that he gets taken just second overall, and everybody's just like, what? And then he just ends up having, like, the worst season ever.
I've seen Mel Kiper project him to be number one overall in a lot of drafts, in a lot of mocks.
Somebody trades up to number one.
They trade up to number one to take Will Levis. He'll be the number one player taken off the board.
That'd be I would love it if that happened, though.
But he's like this. I mean? He's like the second highest graded quarterback like that. He views him as basically Josh Allen.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's what they have him compared to on this one.
Yeah, he's like that. This guy has all the Josh Allen like traits, and he'll end up being like Josh Allen kind of thing. And I think, I don't know, it's Josh Allen is a rarity.
Yes, I agree.
Rarity.
They put in years of commitment on that dude, and it paid off. You know what I mean? Especially because they picked up Stephon Diggs and all that. But
as well as he actually made me have to reevaluate how I evaluate quarterbacks going into the NFL.
Yeah.
Because I used to say that quarterbacks that are inaccurate at the college level can never be accurate at the NFL level.
Yeah, but I don't even know how he did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's become very much more accurate throughout his career.
It's it's something where it's like. I haven't seen very many dudes be able to kind of make that turnaround. You know what I mean? From how bad he was to how good he is now. It's pretty crazy to see. Because it was to the point when I didn't know anything about football when he was kind of like a rookie and stuff.
Yes.
And I was joking, being like, oh, he's gonna be MVP next year. And then all of a sudden he was like third in MVP voting, and it was just like, dude, what? Like that was just like completely like unforeseen thing to happen. But.
Gosh. Looking at Adrian Martinez, because I thought I remembered him being at Wisconsin 7 years ago.
Interesting.
But I'm trying to figure it out where he was. Okay, his freshman year, he was with the Cornhuskers, Nebraska. That's where he was. So same thing, basically, red and white Midwestern team. But Cornhuskers, he played for them. That makes sense because in 2018, he was a freshman, saw 11 games of action, so he was super young in 2018 playing, and that's when I first heard of him on the college football landscape. Ended up transferring over to Northwestern, never became the quarterback everyone was projecting for him after his really, really impressive freshman year. But has played a lot of college football, so, might want to look at him as a later round QB prospect for us.
Yeah, 100%. But, of course, we are rolling around in this last game, and we got a lot of prizes on the line for this one. We got $96 on the must-go, 430. Oh, this is not the last game. This is second to last. And Max taking home that huge minor jackpot just in time, $437 over at the other place in Fertile. Nice job to Max taking home that one. But, of course, good news for everybody else. The double must-go is going to be available on this last game of lunch hour. So definitely try and get a chance at it coming up. It's going to be $96 plus whatever this next must-go is going to be. Looking pretty good. But, of course, only 2.5 minutes left, and we do have a really cool eTab thing to talk about.
Yeah, the re-release of a new and improved version of the original Pilot Games favorite, Finnegan's Gold. This game is great with 4 bonus rounds, an instant win, a wheel, balloon bonus, and free play. Unlock more grids of symbols in the free play that will lead to even more wins in that amazing eTab game.
Oh, 100%. But of course, if you want to keep up with all those new eTabs and bingo games that come out here at Pilot Games, give us a like and follow on our Facebook. All you got to do is search up Pilot Games and you'll see our logo. That way you can see weekly bingo schedules, event details and reminders, big progressives, player pictures, and a lot more than that too. You can also click the website link on our Facebook to see our link tree. It has links to bar locations that you can play Pilot Games at all across Minnesota, other social media pages like Twitter and Instagram, and a lot more than that too. So definitely check us out on there, a big hub of information. But only a minute and a half left to get into this last game of the broadcast, and we got some national days to get into.
Yeah.
This first one's pretty cool. I'll let you take it.
Yeah, National Mulled Wine Day. National Mulled Wine Day on March 3rd warms us up with fruit, spices, and wine. In the lingering days of winter, a hot mug of mulled wine hits the spot and fills the home with pleasant aromas.
Yeah, no, I've never had it before. I would totally like to try it, though.
I want to try mulled wine, as I've heard of it many times. I just have never seen it on a menu or anything like that to be able to order.
Yeah, I've heard of people speaking of the pleasant aroma part, I've heard of people just leaving it in a saucepan on the oven on low. And it just it kind of boils away, but it smells really good. It's kind of like a candle that doesn't have the pollutants in it. You know what I'm saying?
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I've heard of people doing that. I don't know specifically with mulled wine, but that just kind of reminded me of it a little bit.
Yeah,
that's
super tasty. Well, if you've never had it or you just like mulled wine, definitely check it out on today.
Yeah, 100%. I will totally try it out if I see it anywhere. But up next, it is National Anthem Day. This day commemorates the day the United States adopted the Star-Spangled Banner as its national anthem. It was written by Francis Scott Key. The Star-Spangled Banner became the national anthem in 1931.
Really, really cool stuff. Star-Spangled Banner, absolute iconic for the United States. And I think it's a pretty fun national anthem.
It's a pretty good one.
Yeah, and I like how we have so many variations of it now with all the different sporting events variations.
Yeah, no, I agree. I got to say though, like I know it's like it was not like a great country, but the USSR national anthem, like it just for some reason has that orchestral element to it. You know what I mean? And like it terrible place to come from. But like they did a really good job on the song.
Nothing on Madonna's Star-Spangled Banner.
Oh, I agree. I feel Party in the USA would try. If we change Party in the USA to be the national anthem, I would put that over the USSR one.
That'd be or just the whole Shrek soundtrack.
Oh. Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Entire national anthem.
I agree with that. Just all the Smash Mouth covers.
You have to play the entire soundtrack every single morning
just
as
like
you're
an
heading
hour
into school.
and like 34 minutes. Just like, oh, that'd be kind of glorious, to be honest. I'd be cool with it. But of course, happy National Star-Spangled Banner Day. It's definitely a good one to celebrate. But up next, this one is awesome, National Soup It Forward Day. This encourages us to deliver love and kindness by the bowlful. We all know a warm cup of kindness comes in many forms, but this day it is in soup.
Yeah, definitely awesome stuff. Probably just inviting you to maybe volunteer at your local soup kitchen, whatever it is.
I was just kind of thinking like just you give soup to a friend or something like that. I really like soup, to be honest. So I was just really thinking about like somebody giving me soup.
Yeah.
I was about to be like, oh, my favorite soup is like loaded potato soup. But no, this is like a way cooler day than what I was making it out to
be. just my favorite's potato soup.
Yeah. Who's gonna give me potato soup today? But yeah, no, that's really cool. I do love potato soup, though.
Oh yeah, definitely awesome stuff. Happy National Soup It Forward Day. Yeah. Definitely a great day. As we have the 100%. Final prize going out in this one, $146.70 going out to Birthday over at Willie McCoy's of Andover. A bunch of luck going out to you, Birthday, since it is your birthday. Some more national days before you guys get enrolled. A National Employee Appreciation Day.
Cool,
National I Want to Be Happy Day.
Sweet.
National Day of Unplugging.
Important.
National Speech and Debate Education Day,
Important.
National Dress in Blue Day,
Sweet.
and National Cold Cuts Day.
That is awesome. I love all of those days. They all sound pretty cool. So celebrate all of them correctly. In the meantime, though, we have an awesome player spotlight to get into. This week it was Slappy over at the Carboni's Pizza CR Billiards. They took home $6,800, making them the player spotlight, and also taking home a really nice jackpot and supporting a great charity all at the same time. When they won that jackpot, they were supporting the Competition Cheer Spirit Booster Club. They are a nonprofit organization that supports cheer programs, spirit groups, and other organizations and activities that benefit the youth. This is really awesome stuff, and it always brings us right back around to whenever you guys play Pilot games, your community wins. We'll be seeing you guys later.
Our mission is to serve the community. Pilot Games has given us the opportunity to provide those resources and so forth that we need to our schools, to our fire department, to our library, to organizations that help the hungry. All of those are all made possible by the Pilot Games organization.
There it is.
53 balls.
We're at the Ledge Amphitheater in White Park, Minnesota.
I saw the Blues Brothers 2 years ago with these guys.
Blues Brothers 2 years ago was a lot of fun. Prior to that, it was the Beach Boys, and with John Stamos, it was awesome.
I have never been to a PyCon event before. This is my first time, and I am loving it.
Yeah, this is incredible. We pulled in, parked, got some free beers, amazing free food.
Famous Days!
Hey everyone, Famous Dave here, smoking up the best ribs in America.
Having a great time so far. We got a picture with John Randall. It's pretty awesome.
John Randall is like my favorite.
Skol, 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 baby!
Really cool seeing John Kriesel. Really cool listening to him talking his story.
This is my first PyCon, and I've had a blast.
Willie is my favorite.
I'm excited for Willie Nelson.
I grew up listening to Willie Nelson my whole life.
Willie Nelson.
Have a really nice day!
The entertainment, the people watching, cocktails, t-shirts, drink and eat and be with everybody.
Fabulous experience.
Either way, I don't know why you would miss this. That's all I gotta say.
He said we're making sure to come every year.
Get your butt here, man. Get your butt here.
Our mission is to serve the community. Pilot Games has given us the opportunity to provide those resources and so forth that we need to our schools, to our fire department, to our library, to organizations that help the hungry. All of those are all made possible by the Pilot Games organization.
There it is. 53 balls.
at the Ledge Amphitheater in White Park, Minnesota.
I saw the Blues Brothers 2 years ago with these guys.
Blues Brothers 2 years ago was a lot of fun. Prior to that, it was the Beach Boys, and with John Stamos, it was awesome.
I have never been to a PyCon event before. This is my first time, and I am loving it.
Yeah, this is incredible. We pulled in, parked, got some free beers, amazing free food.
Famous Days! Hey everyone, Famous Dave here, smoking up the best ribs in America.
Having a great time so far. We got a picture with John Randall. It's pretty awesome.
John Randall is like my favorite.
Skull, 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 baby!
Really cool seeing John Creasel. Really cool listening to him talk and his story.
This is my first PyCon, and I've had a blast.
Willie is my favorite.
I'm excited for Willie Nelson.
I grew up listening to Willie Nelson my whole life.
Willie Nelson.
Willie Nelson. Have a really nice day!
The entertainment, the people watching, cocktails, t-shirts, drink and eat and be with everybody.
Fabulous experience.
Either way, I don't know why you would miss this. That's all I gotta say.
He said we're making sure to come every year.
Get your butt here, man. Get your butt here.
Bonus!
Our mission is to serve the community. Pilot Games has given us the opportunity to provide those resources and so forth that we need to our schools, to our fire department, to our library, to organizations that help the hungry. All of those are all made possible by the Pilot Games organization.
There it is. 53 balls.
We're at the Ledge Amphitheater in White Park, Minnesota.
I saw the Blues Brothers 2 years ago with these guys.
Blues Brothers 2 years ago was a lot of fun. Prior to that, it was the Beach Boys, and with John Stamos, it was awesome.
I have never been to a PyCon event before. This is my first time, and I am loving it.
Yeah, this is incredible. We pulled in, parked, got some free beers, amazing free food.
Famous Days! Hey everyone, Famous Dave here, smoking up the best ribs in America.
Having a great time so far. We got a picture with John Randall. It's pretty awesome.
John Randall is like my favorite.
Skull, 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 baby!
Really cool seeing John Creasel. Really cool listening to him talk and his story.
This is my first PyCon, and I've had a blast.
Willie is my favorite.
I'm excited for Willie Nelson.
I grew up listening to Willie Nelson my whole life.
Willie Nelson.
Have a really nice day!
The entertainment, the people watching, cocktails, t-shirts, drink and eat and be with everybody.
Fabulous experience.
Either way, I don't know why you would miss this. That's all I gotta say.
He said we're making sure to come every year.
Get your butt here, man. Get your butt here.